we're officially 2 weeks out. The countdown is on, and it's about to get real in Pittsburgh. July 23rd is the date marked in bold for every Steelers player, because that's the day they report to St. Vincent College. And if you're a true football fan, you already know what that means. Training camp, pads cracking, coaches yelling, players sweating it out under the Latrobe sun. But before any of that, before the first whistle even blows, there's one thing that sets the tone, the run test. No cleats, no pads, just you, your lungs, and a lot of sprinting. It's not glamorous, but it's the first signal that football is back. Now, in the lead up to this camp, the conversations have been predictable. Who's going to start at what position? Who's battling for a roster spot? Who's going to be the breakout player? And normally I'd be right there with everyone else, diving into every little competition. But this year feels different. This year, the script has changed, not just because of the new names on the depth chart, but because the energy around this team is shifting. And you can feel it. It's not so much about battles for positions. It's about something much bigger. It's about chemistry, identity, unity. When you look at the roster, especially after the additions of Jalen Ramsey and John Smith, it's clear that the Steelers aren't just plugging holes. They're rebuilding their culture on the fly. And let's not kid ourselves. That's not something that happens overnight. You can't manufacture cohesion. You can't fake brotherhood. That kind of connection comes from shared struggle, from late nights in the dorms, from sitting on the steps outside the cafeteria after a long day of 2-a-days, just talking life. That's what Latrobe has always been about. That's why St. Vincent isn't just some backdrop for training camp. It's a place where bonds are built. Talk to any former Steeler, whether it's a Pro Bowler or a guy who only wore the jersey for one summer, and they'll tell you the same thing. Latrobe changed them, not just as players, as men, because it's there in the long grind of camp where guys figure out what it actually means to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, and that phrase isn't just lip service. For guys like Troy Polamalu, Brett Keisel, Aaron Smith, and Hines Ward, that meant something sacred. They didn't care if you were first on the depth chart or clinging to the bottom rung. Everyone had a role to play, and everyone needed to understand the standard. That legacy wasn't something you just wore on your jersey. You had to live it, and the veterans made sure of that. Troy, in particular, didn't just lead by example on the field. He was the soul of the locker room. He made it a point to include every single guy to share what had been passed down to him, to help them see the game, man, this team, through a different lens. It wasn't about being best friends with everyone. It wasn't about some fairy tale bond. It was about understanding what it means to sacrifice for something bigger than yourself. That's the real Steeler way. Now you might be sitting there, rolling your eyes at all this talk about culture and brotherhood and leadership. You want hot takes, right? You want contract drama or depth chart chaos? Sorry, but that's not what this moment calls for. This right here, this part of the season, is where the foundation is built. Because before there's any talk about playoff pushes or divisional standings, these guys need to become a team. Not on paper, not on social media, on the field, in the dorms, in the grind. And yes, believe it or not, that kind of thing still happens in today's NFL. Even with FaceTime and TikTok and group text and all the modern stuff, there's still something about being together in Latrobe that brings a team closer. Players who've been through it recently say it's different now. Sure, the world's changed. People communicate differently, but the essence, that's still there. And for this version of the Steelers, it might be more important than it's been in a long time. Think about what we talked about just yesterday. Think about all the new faces, the new starters. We're talking major additions. 3 names in particular jump out: Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, and John Smith. These guys are big-time players, but they're joining the team late in the process. Rodgers only showed up for minicamp. Ramsey and Smith haven't even put on the jersey yet. That's a lot of talent to integrate in a very short amount of time. There's no choice here. This group has to fast forward the bonding process. No skipping steps. No waiting until week 1 to figure it out. And that means someone, or several someones, will have to lead the way. Leadership isn't something you can assign. It's not about seniority. It's not just about talent. It's about presence. And right now, a few names are stepping into that spotlight, whether they're ready or not. On the defensive side, I'm going to throw one out there. That might surprise you, Patrick Queen. Yeah, I get it. This is only his second year in Pittsburgh. But think about it. Queen is now the green dot guy. He's calling the plays. And when you look at that secondary, he's suddenly the most experienced voice. That's a wild turnaround, but it's also an opportunity. I remember being around Queen last season, seeing him go through that adjustment period. Landon Robbers and others were kind of showing him the ropes, helping him get settled in this system. I even remember a moment where Landon asked me to share some stories about Pittsburgh, about the Steelers with Queen, just to help him connect more with the city and the tradition. That's the kind of mentorship that matters. And now, it's on Queen to pay it forward. The training wheels are off. There's no more learning curve. No more. I'm still figuring it out. He told me himself at minicamp, it's time to step up, time to lead, and then there's the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is the unquestioned leader there. That goes without saying. But leadership takes different forms. Rodgers is the general. But culture, that's something else. And for that role, my pick is Pat Fryermuth. He's not the loudest guy in the room, but he's been through the ups and downs with this team. He's seen the highs and the lows. He cares. Genuinely, and with so many new pieces around him, especially at critical offensive positions, he's going to be the guy holding things together when things get messy, because they will. Let's not forget, and there are a ton of guys on this roster who haven't won a playoff game in a Steelers uniform, and that weighs on them. You can feel it. These guys want it. They're hungry. And Fryermuth, he wears that on his sleeve. He's tired of moral victories. He's tired of falling short. He wants to be part of the group that turns it around. And to do that, someone's got to help this new look offense gel. Someone has to bring the receivers, the line, the backs, and the quarterback together and say, this is how we do things here. There's no manual for that. There's no blueprint. Every team is different. Every year is different. But one thing that never changes is the need for identity. If you don't have one, you're just a bunch of talented guys running around with no direction. The Steelers historically have always had that sense of who they are, even in down. Years. Even when the wins weren't coming, there was always a standard, and that standard was passed down, not imposed. That's what has to happen again now. And here's the part that might sound strange to some of you. Fans don't always see it. Reporters don't really live it either. Even someone like me, who's around the team, who's in the facility, who talks to players and coaches regularly. I'm still an outsider. That's the truth. I don't pretend to be anything else. But over the years, when you hear enough of the same stories, the same themes, the same values being echoed by player after player, regardless of era, you realize there's something there that matters. Something that can't be measured on a stat sheet. Say what you will about last season. It ended in disappointment, sure. But that group had one of the best training camps in recent memory. They came together. They believed in each other, and the results spoke for themselves. A 10-3 start that nobody saw coming. That didn't happen by accident. That was built in Latrobe. And the opportunity to do that again, it's right there. This team has the pieces. That's not the issue. The challenge now is to take all those pieces and make them one. To stop being a collection of names and become something greater than the sum of its parts. And that work starts not in a stadium, not in prime time, but in the sweat and grind of camp. It starts with the run test. It starts with the little things. Because in the NFL, the little things are everything. The question a lot of fans are asking right now, even if they don't say it out loud, is this: does that kind of team building still work? Is there still room for camaraderie in a league that feels more transactional than ever? In a world where players are switching teams at record pace, where locker rooms are filled with one-year deals and incentive-laced contracts, does the idea of Steelers family still hold any weight? And the answer, at least for this franchise, is yes, but only if they choose to make it matter. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling in the NFL world about a potentially groundbreaking shift in the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive scheme. Sources close to the organization hint that Fred Warner, the fierce and relentless linebacker, often dubbed the Steel Warrior, could soon be taking command of the Steelers' young and developing linebacker core. This move, if it materializes, could signal a new era for Pittsburgh's defense, one built on Warner's undeniable leadership and tenacity. Warner, who has earned a reputation as one of the fiercest tacklers and smartest minds on the field, is rumored to be stepping into a leadership role that extends beyond his usual responsibilities. Pittsburgh's linebacker group has been viewed as a work in progress, featuring promising but inexperienced talent who could benefit greatly from the guidance of a proven veteran. Bringing in Warner as a commander for this youthful unit could be just what the Steelers need to transform their defense from average to dominant. The Steelers, known historically for their hard-nosed defensive identity, have struggled to find consistency in recent seasons, especially in the linebacker position. The suggestion that Warner might be at the helm gives fans hope that the franchise is serious about reclaiming its defensive swagger. His combination of physicality and football IQ makes him a natural fit to mentor and elevate the next generation of linebackers, helping them navigate the complexities of NFL offenses while maintaining Pittsburgh's trademark toughness. Insiders also speculate that this potential transition might come with an expanded role for Warner, possibly including influence in defensive play calling or scheme adjustments. If the Steelers entrust Warner with such responsibilities, it would demonstrate their faith in his ability to be more than just a player, but a true field general. Though nothing has been officially confirmed, the buzz around Warner's emerging role has already sparked excitement among Steelers fans and analysts alike. Could the Steel Warrior become the backbone that steadies Pittsburgh's linebacker group? Time will tell. But the possibility alone has ignited speculation about a revitalized Steelers defense anchored by one of the NFL's fiercest competitors. For now, the Steelers faithful are left to imagine a defense led by Warner's grit and leadership, one that could restore the franchise's proud defensive tradition and make Pittsburgh's linebacker unit a force to be reckoned with once again. Stay tuned as this story is still unfolding, and what's certain is that the chatter around Fred Warner and the Steelers' linebacker future is only just beginning. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.